3 workouts down, 3 workouts to go for the CoEd Teams of 4 Elite Division here at Crescendo 2024. We're in Spartanburg, South Carolina at CrossFit Crash. My name is Brian Friend. We got the first heat out here on the floor. They're taking on the shortest workout of the weekend, 3 rounds per time. 20 burpee box jump overs in pairs, male-female pairs, 100 feet of worm lunges. Each pair they have to switch every 10. So the first pair will do 10, they'll run back down the floor, tag in the second pair, they do 10, run back down the floor. All 4 teammates will lunge at 100 feet together. They'll have to go all the way down back towards the boxes and return the worms to where they got every round. Left to right on your screen, lane number 1, Apex Black. Lane number 2 was Spindle City. Lane 3, Mayhem Liberty. Lane 4, 12th State. And lane 5, CrossFit Coalition. Bethany and Chuck Smyers leading things off for Coalition. Closest to you on the left, Anna Vincent. She wants to send a shout out to her babies at home, Sawyer and Rhett, along with Mike Eleftero there in lane number 4. Lane 3, Mayhem Liberty, Nick Azor and Rebecca Devine. Spindle City, T. James Henderson and Brandon Airy, the first son, and farthest away from you, Rebecca Stidham and Justin Bell, second off the box. The Mayhem Liberty team back of the pack here on the first 10 burpee box jump over. Spindle City now sends Will Farquharson and Teresa Puckett to the box there in the neon and purple shorts. Closest to us on the screen, Brandon and Marissa Estep in lane 4. Cara Petrozelli, Kimberly DeCray and Austin Rowe. Looking at the wrong notes there. Lane number 3, Kenzie Campbell and Dalton Rogers for Mayhem Liberty. And in the far lane, that is Cara Petrozelli and Caleb Sylvie. CrossFit Coalition on the right, closest to us, Spindle City in the neon. First 2 teams to the worm, 100 feet of worm lunging. Farthest away from us over there, Apex Black will be the next to pick it up, and then Mayhem Liberty. And lastly, 12th State, all 5 teams with the worm up off the ground now. Down and back worm lunge, 100 feet total. We've seen a lot of high skill in this competition so far. Now it's time to see these 4 teammates on one of the most demanding team implements in the sport of CrossFit. The worms will be out for both this workout and the first workout tomorrow. Workouts 4 and 5 out of a 6 workout competition. Having the worm in 2 out of 6 workouts makes a lot of sense to me. And JR Hall has chosen to have that for these teams this year. Spindle City made the turn with the worm on the ground. You saw right in front of you, Dalton Rogers bark out ready turn for Mayhem Liberty as they flip it on their shoulder. One of the most proficient teams will be capable of doing that. 12th State drops the worm. Coalition on the right. Apex Black on the left. Those 3 teams bringing up the rear right now. It's Spindle City out front, followed by Mayhem Liberty. Mayhem Liberty was 4th to get the worm off the floor, but they've passed by 2 of those 3 teams that were ahead of them already. Only Spindle City remains. And here comes T. James Henderson and Brandy Airy in the yellow. Spindle City leading the way. They did get the event win for the heat win, in the event earlier today. Brandy Airy missing that first box jump there. 30 inches for the men, 24 for the women. Nick Azor and Rebecca Devine from the Mayhem Liberty team first to the box. This pairing was the slowest off the box of the opening pairings, but now their team has been steadily moving up relative to their heat since then. It is a 3-round workout with 3.5 minutes in. I think that at least the top 2 teams here are going to finish. Apex Black moved into 3rd in the heat. There comes 12th State, Vincent and Eleftero. And the Smyers couple out of CrossFit Coalition. We now have all 5 teams with their first pair working on the second round of the burpee box jump overs. The next team. Okay. Spindle City and Mayhem Liberty continue to lead here. 12 State and Apex, 12 State and then Apex Black, third and fourth in the heat. And CrossFit Coalition finishing up their first set of 10. They'll go and tag out for Brandon and Marissa. Mayhem Liberty has overtaken Spindle City, getting the worm up and off the ground before them in this second round, middle of 3 rounds. Coalition second pair finishes it up, and all 5 teams are heading back to the worm for their second set of 100 feet worm lunges. Dalton Rogers at the front there, barking out orders once again. Smooth switch while Spindle City drops. Right foot go, he says, and they're off. Mayhem Liberty heading back down the floor. So it's Mayhem Liberty, Spindle City 1-2 in the heat. Apex Black on the left side of your screen coming towards us, pretty much on the same rep as 12 State. And CrossFit Coalition hanging tough, about 10 or 15 feet behind those other 2 teams. 6 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock right now. 10-minute time cap for this one. Mayhem Liberty getting close to finishing up there. Back of your screen, middle of the camera. They do drop, and here comes Nikki Zora and Rebecca Devine for their final set of 10 burpee box jump overs. See how much of an advantage they're able to gain over Aerie and Henderson. That's 2, and it looks like they're going to get 3 reps in the book. They have a 3-rep lead over Spindle City at this point, and actually 4 reps before Spindle City gets off the ground. Mayhem Liberty really making a difference on the worm, though. Very fluid with their lunges. They have the capacity to make that switch at the midway point on the shoulder instead of dropping it. And the communication, as we saw from Dalton Rogers in both the first and second set. As always, big crowd down here at CrossFit Crash, lining both sides of the main arena. The turf had been in play for most of the day. Now we got athletes out here on the main part of the floor to finish things off. There are Kenzie Campbell and Dalton Rogers. Might have got a no up on that first rep. Yeah, the judge is calling them back. But they are the first team to get their second pair to this final set of burpee box jump overs. And Aerie and Henderson depart the boxes. Farquharson and Puckett will be making their way down here next. So it continues to be Mayhem Liberty followed by Spindle City. The other 2 teams that you see on your screen here, Apex Black in the background and 12 State in the foreground in the purple, battling for that 3rd spot in the heat. CrossFit Coalition's first pair gets to the boxes. Mayhem Liberty's second pair leaves the box. 8:15 on the clock, so they got a minute 45 to try to get this last set of lunges done. Spindle City done. And here's Mayhem Liberty leading the charge in heat number 1 of event 4 for the Elite CoEd team division here. Spindle City on the right will be second to pick up the worm in this final round. Approaching 1 minute remaining in this one. 2 more steps for Liberty, says Dalton Rogers. Another smoothly executed turn for them. Right foot first again. 50 seconds 45 seconds. We'll stay with him to the finish here. (9:37). So time to beat going into heat 2 will be 9:37 by Mayhem Liberty. 10 seconds to the cap. See if Spindle City can get it done. I don't think it's going to happen, but they are going to take second in the heat. All 5 teams did get to that final worm lunge. (70 out of 100 feet on the last lunge completed for Spindle City. So 9:37 Mayhem Liberty, 70 out of 100 feet for Spindle City. Second heat already on the floor. This is going to be a full heat, excuse me, 6 lanes. Oh, I got the crowd here. Great crowd, as we mentioned. Lane number 1, we're going to have CF Reignited. Lane number 2, the Crash Kids, sitting 4th overall, having a great competition so far. Lane number 3, well, I think they got the nameplates on the wrong. We got the nameplates on the wrong lanes there. Let's see if they figure this out. They didn't. No, Independence. Mayhem Independence is in the lead. But all right, got the lane sorted out. It is Reignited in lane 1, Crash Kids in lane 2, Mayhem Independence, the overall leaders by 10 points in lane number 3 here. Grit House, currently 3rd place overall, they'll be in lane 4. Team Let's See What Happens, currently 2nd place overall, they'll be in lane 5. And Ocean State CrossFit rounding out the very impressive heat here in lane number 6. Take a look at the workout one more time there. Three rounds for time. Shortest time cap of the weekend for the elite team division, or co-ed team division. 20 burpee box jump overs. And 100 feet of worm lunging in every round. The first male-female pair will have to do 10 burpee box jump overs, run back, tag in the second pair. They'll do 10, run back down, pick up the worm as a team of 4, lunge it towards us, back to where they started. That'll conclude 1 round. 3 rounds will conclude the workout. 9 minutes, 37 seconds, the fastest time. That was from Mayhem Liberty in the first heat. Sorry about that. Widest angle I can get with this position. After these pairs move, I'll change it up for you guys so you can see everyone. But in the middle of the floor, Angelo DeChico and Molly McGrandy kicking things off for Mayhem. But it's Tristan Fiore and Brink Herrick, the first back down the floor for team. Let's see what happens. Rogers and Stanley, Evan Rogers and Caroline Stanley there in the black and pink. followed by Ben Sexton and Caroline Klutz for Grithouse, and then Sam Demeester, Zoe Jones coming to the box at the same time as Shaylin Lowry and Quinn Robinson down there in lane number 1. Closest to us, Christine Best and Josh Mattis, the second leg for Ocean State. And that leaves Crash Grids, who's got Caden Myers and Caroline Thomas, who I would have to think are the youngest and oldest competitors in this entire division. Pretty cool to see them going rep for rep there. Caroline Thomas having a baby less than a year ago out here competing in the purple pants. Repping the CEO shirt. A good friend, old friend. Nice to see. All right, lunges are up, or worms are up, lunges are off, and other than the Crash Kids, the other 5 teams are all within 5 feet of each other here, as you can see. Pretty much a dead heat. So despite those really fast burpees from Fiore and Carrick, the other teams have kind of reeled them in. Now, the CrossFit Mayhem teams over the years have been renowned for their skill and proficiency with the worm. We saw what Mayhem Liberty was able to do in heat number 1. Let's see if Mayhem Independence is able to have similar excellence relative to their heat in lane 2. Interesting that they choose to drop it. Grithouse and Ocean State both switch on the shoulder. Tristan Fiore calling out a switch. I talked to Caroline Stanley about an hour ago, and she said they had not practiced on the worm together as a team at all, and they executed that rather flawlessly. Reignited chose to switch on the ground, so different strategies for different teams. And the Crash Kids will drop it as well. So 3 and 3. 3 teams switch on the shoulder, 3 drop and re-pick it up. And at the 2.5 minute mark, it looks like it is going to continue to be Independence who leads on the worm. Yep, 2:35 on the clock. Here come Angelo and Molly McGrandy. Looks like they're probably going to get about 2 reps in before the rest of the teams join them. Quinn Robinson and Shaylin Lowry, who were second in the first round, choosing to be first in this round. So they've done 10 burpee box jump moves and the lunge and are going again. Interesting strategy there for Reignited in lane 1. Grithouse, Stevie Dillinger, and Kevin Steinhaus were thirds of the boxes. Fiore and Carrick, the fastest pair on the boxes in round 1, were 4th here. There's Middleton and Ethan Helbig in the foreground representing Ocean State. So pretty tight between the top 5 teams. Everyone currently chasing Independence. And that's also the case on the overall leaderboard. Chichico and McGrandy, perfect unison there. Head back down the floor. You're going to see Sam Demeester and Zoe Jones. So it's Steinhaus and Dillinger who made up a rep on Lowry and Robinson there. There are Demeester and Zoe Jones. 2 reps in the books before the Grithouse gets there. And Grithouse will have a 1 rep lead over Reignited. You saw Crash Kids enter the conversation, but they're full 10 reps behind. That's their first pair, Zach Strail and Jessica Rubo. Rogers and Stanley in the black and pick, Mattis and Best right in front of us. The top 5 teams have their second pairs on the floor in the second of 3 rounds. We'll look for, there they go, as I was about to say it, Sam and Zoe heading back down the floor, continuing to lead, and Grithouse will be right behind them. Team Let's See What Happens did Mayhem Independence a favor earlier, stealing 5 points from them, middling them on the pegboard and drag rope double under workout earlier today. So Mayhem Independence currently has about a 10-foot lead, it looks like, over the Grithouse. They've got about 10 feet over the other 3 teams that we've been talking about. Reignited on the far left is still in this. Let's see what happens. And Ocean State on the right side of your screen. Sam Demeester out front here. It tells them they got 1 more to go. And they're going to drop and switch again. Just a great amount of composure from them. Kevin Steinhaus and the Grithouse need 1 more. And they're going to switch. See if any of the teams choose a different strategy in this one. Reignited drops as they did in round 1. Ocean State switches. Let's see what happens. Switches. So same strategies for those teams across the board. 2 drops, 3 switches in the shoulder, but the order remains relatively the same. Reignited on the left side has opened up a little bit of a margin relative to the teams in lane 5 and 6. 5:20 on the clock. Last round getting underway for Mayhem Independence. This is Angelo DeChico and Molly McGrandy. Next to them is going to be Kevin Steinhaus and Stevie Dillinger. So top 2 teams in the heat are teams 1 and 3 on the overall standings entering this one. They're separated by 10 points on the leaderboard. If Independence does finish first, 2 Grithouse is second, that lead will extend to 15 points. It's points per place, 5 points per place from 100, working your way down on the leaderboard. You can check all the official scores on local comp. They've been working with J.R. Howell and CrossFit Crash for a long time. Left side of the screen, Finn Robinson and Shaylin Lowry, our 3rd overall. Bryn Carrick, Tristan Fiore in a battle with Ethan Helbig and Christine Middleton. But right here, Sam DeMeester, Zoe Jones, the last 10 burpee box jump overs for Mayhem Independence before one more set of 100-foot warm lunges. And they've got a 3.5 rep lead over the Grit House. And with the execution on the worm that Independence has, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to make that up. Reignited, and let's see what happens. Both sending their second pairs down here at the same time. So could end up with a really tight battle for 3rd. Reignited has generally been about 5 feet better on the worm through the first 2 rounds. And Ocean State has drifted back into 5th in the heat at this point. The Crash kids are working on their lunge there in round number 2. And they're way behind relative to this heat, but probably in the mix relative to the first one. Here comes Independence on their final set of lunges. The Grit House is just getting the worm off the floor as Sam DeMeester passes by the 20-foot mark, so that margin increased by about 10 feet in the final round. Reignited back at the worm, but doesn't have it off the ground. Let's see what happens. Now with their hands on, let's see what happens. Gets to the worm first and has it off the ground, so they've moved into 3rd in the heat. They're 2nd place overall. A little bit of miscommunication there on the final step, and the Grit House has closed 10 feet of that 20 feet. They're going to switch in the air. We're going to have a lunging race to the finish here. Mayhem Independence losing their composure here late. The Grit House needs these points badly. They don't want that gap to open any more than it has already. Grit House is on a mission, closing hard. And CLT, the Grit House, they might not be in the CrossFit Games season this year, but they're making their presence known here. They're going to take the win in 8:11. Mayhem Independence will be 2 lunges behind in 8:15. And that gap that was 10 is now down to 5. I'm going to reposition real quick because we got 3 teams in a similarly tight battle here. You see in the pink shirt, Caroline Stanley. She's barely ahead of Shaylin Lowry on the left side of the screen. Ocean State about a worm length behind. They got to get all 4 athletes across. And that's a dead tie if you ask me. I think that's got to be a dead tie, 8:42 for both teams. I didn't see it any differently. 8:40. 8:40, dead tie. The judges saw it how I saw it. Perfect call on the floor. Outside lane, Ocean State did get in. So they'll finish underneath the time from Mayhem Liberty. Mayhem Liberty will take 6th in the event overall. Crash Kids have their last athletes working on these 10 burpee box jump overs. There goes Caroline Thomas working on the last rep. 20 seconds to the time cap. So Grit House closes strong, eats into that, and it will have a 5-point deficit behind Mayhem Independence heading into the final day. Reignited, and let's see what happens. Exchanging blows the entire time, end up exactly tied on 8 minutes and 40 seconds, and Ocean State takes 5th. They've been pretty consistent, but haven't been able to log a top 3 finish yet, and for the team that came in ranked 2nd out of the North America East quarterfinals teams, they have had a hard time placing that well here with the test that J.R. Howell has put together for these teams. Zach Streel motivating his team right down to the last second. Love to see that leadership out of him. And the time cap hits. Looks like they're going to get either 20 or 30 feet. And they'll probably finish 7th or 8th overall in that one. But the Grit House, led by Kevin Steinhaus right there, taking care of business when it mattered most. We'll see if we can talk to someone on their team and ask them how they got it done. Hard charge late, Caroline. Was that expected? Was that the plan the whole time?
That was the plan. Sneak out from behind when they least expected.
Yeah, well, it worked out, and I think the points gap's only going to be 5 tomorrow. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's good for us. I think making that switch and not dropping was huge for us to catch up. and we heard them drop, so we're like, we gotta go.
Well done. Great way to close the day. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. There it is, the Grit House, winners of event number 4 for the Elite Co-Ed division. Currently going to be second overall. 5 points behind that Mayhem Independence team. Really exciting way for the Elite division to end the day. 2 more events tomorrow to close things out for them. Thank you guys, as always, for being here and watching these incredible athletes put on a show. Reignited team, Quinn Robinson saying hi to the camera for you guys. Takes third in that one. All results and official leaderboard will be on Local Comp. Until tomorrow, I'm Brian Friend from CrossFit Crash. Have a good evening.